Can you retire with $300,000? I'm sitting at my kitchen table with exactly 310,000 to my name, and the honest answer is it's quiet. The math on paper worked. The math in the cereal aisle, where I stood for 10 minutes last week, is a different story. I've been retired just over a year. I thought owning my home outright meant freedom, but the HOA bill still comes. I thought I'd miss the paycheck, but I miss the purpose more. And that leftover $1,400 a month? Some months it's for a plumber. Some months it's for a movie with my grandkids. You never know which month is which, and that's the real tension you live with. Your life gets small. You learn the price of everything. And you have to be okay with Tuesday morning walks being a highlight, or the fate of your tomato plants being big news. I ran the numbers 100 times before I filed the paperwork. My coworkers got me a grocery store cake. I drove home, sat in my backyard, and just stared. I'd worked for 46 years. That was what I had to show for it. The pension from the dental office is $610. Medicare supplement is $194. The HOA is $210. You start to know these numbers like your own birthday. The scariest part isn't the money running out. It's your spirit running out before the money does. I didn't see that coming. I started this channel because I felt so alone in that feeling, and it turns out I'm not. So, can you do it? You can. But your reality becomes a series of careful choices. You clip digital coupons. You think twice about eating out. You find a strange comfort in routine because it's the handrail you hold on to. My daughter thinks I overshare. She's probably right, but here's my truth. It's possible. It's just very, very real. All right, that's enough from me today. Can you be broke and still retire? Well, I'm living the answer to that question, and it's a Tuesday. Hey everybody, welcome back, or welcome if you're new. My name is Linda. I'm sitting here at my kitchen table with my coffee, looking out at my little Florida garden, and I see this question online all the time. Can you retire with $300,000? My honest reality is I have about $310,000 total between my 401k, a tiny savings account, and my half of the house equity from the divorce. My Social Security is $2,140 a month, and I am not a financial person. I'm a person who retired and now checks her bank app more than she checks the weather. Maybe it's just me. But to understand what those numbers really mean, I have to tell you about the day it all became real. The day the music stopped. Last March. My last day at the physical therapy clinic. My coworkers, they were sweet. They got me a sheet cake from Publix. The kind with the thick frosting roses. I ate a piece, I hugged everyone, I got in my car, my paid-off Honda, thank goodness, and I drove home to my house here in Lakeland. And then I just sat in my backyard in a lawn chair for 3 hours, just staring at this palm tree I still can't believe is mine. I'd run the numbers 100 times, you know. I had them memorized. But sitting there with the silence of the house behind me, suddenly it all felt like pretend money, monopoly money, and this thought just popped into my head clear as anything. I thought, Linda Susan Kowalski, you have worked for 46 years, since 1977, and this is what you have to show for it? I cried a little, and not the happy kind. It was this weird mix of relief and total sheer terror. All my planning, and I drove home to a silent house with no plan. That's when the theoretical math ended and the grocery store math began. So the math on paper is one thing, but the math at the grocery store is different. My pension from the dental office is $610 a month. My Medicare supplement is $194. I use the digital coupons on the Publix app, and I plan meals around what's on sale. I stood in the cereal aisle for 10 minutes last week comparing prices, and I felt like my mother Rose. She could stretch a dollar until it screamed. I get it now. And paid off is the best phrase in the English language, but it's not everything. My house is paid off, but the HOA is $210. My car is paid off, but the insurance is $97. The property tax bill still shows up. I thought owning my home outright meant free living. It does not. It means different bills. The scariest part? It's not the money running out, it's your spirit running out before the money does. I have about 1,400 left each month after the essentials. Some months it goes to a plumber, had a leak under the kitchen sink last month that cost $300. Just like that. Other months it goes to taking Chloe and Mason to a movie with popcorn. The not knowing which month is which is the hard part. I miss the structure of work more than I miss the paycheck, and I never saw that coming. The first few months I watched a lot of television. I felt guilty about it, but the silence was so loud. Then Shelley, my daughter, she came over one Tuesday. She saw me in my robe at 11 a.m. She didn't say anything, just set up this camera right here on the table. She said, "Mom, talk to it. Talk about the cereal aisle." I thought she was nuts, but I did. And something about saying it out loud to a little red light made it feel less like a problem and more like a story, my story. That's when I started building my new routine, my handrail. The garden was first. I called my brother Gary in Columbus, told him I was putting tomatoes in Florida sand. He laughed and said our dad Stanley would be proud. The Tuesday walking group at the community center was next, a bunch of us figuring it out step by step. And this channel, you all. Suddenly, I had somewhere to be, even if it was just here with my coffee and my notebook. But the doubt creeps back in, always at night. I'll be paying a bill online and think, Bob would probably have handled this differently. And he would have. But Bob and I are not married anymore, so I get to figure it out myself. Sometimes that's freeing. Sometimes it's just lonely. I think about my dad's retirement, all those years of fishing and puttering. He made it look easy. Maybe it was, for him. Or maybe he just never talked about the quiet parts. So, after all that, back to the original question. Can you retire with $300,000? My answer is, you can, but your life gets very small and very quiet, and you have to be okay with that. My big excitement this week is my tomato plants might have fruit. I go to the library for free books and air conditioning. I talk to you all. It's a smaller life than I imagined at 40, but it's mine. It's real. All right, that's enough from me today. If this was helpful or real for you, hit that like button. It helps more than you know. And tell me in the comments, what's your reality look like? I read every one. I'll talk to you next week. And that's the thing I never expected. I miss the structure more than the paycheck. For 46 years, my days were shaped by someone else's clock. Be at the dental office by 8:30, lunch at noon, file the insurance forms by 3, and then, suddenly, silence. The first few months, I'd wake up and just feel this void, this lack of direction. I'd wander to the grocery store on a Tuesday morning and feel like I was playing hooky. The days were so long. I watched a lot of television and felt guilty about it. I thought retirement was supposed to be freedom, but it felt like being untethered, like I was just floating in my own house. And I think that's the real fear. It's not the money running out. It's your spirit running out before the money does. It's looking at a Tuesday with nothing in it and feeling a little bit of dread. Because what are you for then? I had to build a new handrail, piece by piece. The garden, this silly YouTube channel, my Tuesday walking group with a bunch of other people who are also figuring it out. It's not a career. It's not even a hobby, really. It's just something to hold on to, a reason to get dressed. My dad, Stanley, he retired from the tire plant at 62 and he just did it. He fished, he watched baseball, he puttered. I used to think he had it all figured out. Now I wonder if he ever sat in his backyard in Akron and felt this quiet panic. If he ever missed the sound of the factory whistle, the smell of rubber, the way a day had a defined beginning and end. He never said. Maybe that's the real work of retirement, not managing your money, but managing the quiet. And some days, I'm not sure which is harder. So after all that, back to the original question. Can you retire with $300,000? My answer is you can, but your life gets very small and very quiet, and you have to be okay with that. It's not about fancy trips or new hobbies. It's about tomato plants and library books and the air conditioning being a little too high. It's about finding a handrail in the quiet so you don't feel like you're floating. For me, that's this garden, my Tuesday walks, and this channel. It's a smaller life than I pictured, but it's mine. It's real, and most days it's enough. If this felt real or helpful to you, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit that like button. It honestly helps more than you know. And I'd really love to hear from you in the comments. Tell me, what's the one small, quiet thing that's getting you through right now? Whether you're retired or just dreaming of it, what's your version of my tomato plants? I read every single comment. It feels like having coffee with a friend. And if you want to join me here at the table next week, go ahead and subscribe. I'm just figuring this out, one Tuesday at a time. All right, that's enough from me today. I'll talk to you next week.